Back on the mic.
Back on the mic. And I've been thinking,
Mm.
what my number one problem with you is?
What's that?
You just keep winning.
Yes!
How do you just keep winning? You're like
I'm
you're like Kramer. Like you have these sources of income
mm,
that I'm not really sure exactly where they
it's all
all
fuzzy.
flow,
Sure.
but it
Yeah.
always works out for Ian. You
I
went on a
don't know
poker
about that.
trip and I got a
Yeah.
picture of
Mm,
money. So
yeah.
much money. You just keep winning. Tell me, how did this happen?
There's almost nothing I love better outside of like family, give
Yeah,
all the
yeah,
normal
whatever,
caveats.
whatever.
Right. Than wrapped money, like from a
Ugh,
bank, like was wrapped in the little paper wrapping.
it's
It just
so
feels so good.
gangster. I love
It's
it
so
so
gangster.
much.
It so ties in with all the things I love in movies and like gangster
Mm-hmm.
movies, also just like
Mm-hmm.
piles of wrapped money. So yes, I sent you a picture of wrapped money. Um, it was great. We have a lot of chaos. I'm just gonna give you the very thin version because it's tied to the poker, which
Okay.
is oldest kid at college coming home last Friday. This was last week. Middle kid, Spanish trip to Costa Rica. He's in Costa Rica. Wife and daughter are like, we're getting the heck out of here. We're going to Florida to catch some sun. Ian, home alone. I grew up in a big family, a lot of people. I don't want to be home alone. I don't
Don't want to
like
be
being
home
home
alone.
alone. Being home alone is sad to me. Got to
So
get
you
out.
called up the other DGen.
I called up Daniel Colborn, my other Laravel poker DGen buddy, and also Chris Morel lives near him. I
Oh,
went to
boss man
Philly.
Chris.
Boss man Chris
I
went to
didn't have him
Philly.
tagged as a DGen. Is he a DGen?
No, he is not a DGen, although he is
Hmm.
learning poker. Well, all right. So he's actually playing poker tonight, I think, with Daniel at a home game. He's been getting into learning.
Okay, so
This
full
morning,
DGen arc.
this morning he messaged me that from bed last night, he built his own Tinder-like poker trainer. So a
Yeah,
pre-flop
he's
poker
toast.
trainer.
He's
So we're
toast.
getting him. We're getting him. We're
Yeah.
hooking him in.
R.I.P. boss man Chris.
So anyway, I was like, I'll go to Philly. I'll hang out. I'll have some dinners. I'll play some poker. It's going to be great. So I went to Philly. I had some dinners. I played some poker. It was great.
Mission accomplished.
Mission accomplished. Couple cool. So when I travel for poker, I like to play bigger than I can play in my normal setting. Daniel happened to know some people who know some people kind of situation. Got me in a big game, like a private-ish type game at the casino, which is the thing that happens now. But they don't want a bunch of pros in there. I actually have an interesting corollary to the story. So anyway, I got in this big game. Me and Daniel played in it. I won like $8,000 in the big game. So they paid me in wrap money because I had my buy-in, so it's more than 10,000. So I got 10,000 wrapped, which is glorious.
You got a stack of $100
stack.
bills with a
great.
piece of paper around it that
It's so
said
good.
$10,000.
Yeah, it's glorious. It's nothing
Oh
better. Nothing better.
man.
It's so much realer than like getting a transfer for $10,000 when someone just hands you wrapped cash. You're like, this is real. This is physical. This is fresh. It's
Man.
crisp. It smells good. It is
Listen,
good.
I don't love money because that's the root of all kinds of evil, but I
Sure.
would love that. That sounds awesome.
We gotta get you in there, man. You already know how to play. We'll get you in
I
the
do know
mix.
how to play. I'm not very good, but I do know how to play. It's the on the fly it's the on the fly calculation of the odds of like what could be coming and what are other people trying to make. That's the part where I get a little bit that, and like the human psychology of betting strategy of like, oh, he's doing a donk bet or he's like chasing whatever. It's like
terms.
That's the stuff where I'm like, oh man, I just know what I'm trying to get.
Right.
And I'm not playing the second order level of
you got to get to the next level. Yes,
you got to play
where you make
second order where you're playing
Yes.
against people, not just by yourself.
Absolutely. So this was a perfect example of that because in the first big game, which was the one I'm talking about here, they keep out all the pros. There's only like one pro in the game, and it's a bunch of other donkey type dudes. So it's like perfect. They're live tells, all this stuff, and then this is the first time I've ever played the stand-up game. So if people have seen this on televised poker, there's a thing called the stand-up game, which makes a lot of action in the game. But basically, like if you don't, the last person to not win a hand has to pay everybody money. So there's a lot of
Mm.
incentive to not be the last person with standing, basically. Um, so it makes people bluff who don't normally bluff. It
Mhm.
it makes people in hands they shouldn't be in because they're opening pre-flop with a hand just to try to win a hand, which they would normally not open with. So it was great. I got to run some huge, crazy bluffs that I mean, they all worked. It was fabulous. So that was great. And then the counter to that is that the next night, I'm gonna give people the real dose. I'm not gonna go normal poker player and just tell you about my wins. I'm gonna tell
Oh,
you about the
good.
losses too, Aaron.
Good. This is
So
my
the
favorite
next
thing
night,
about you. If there's the one thing I hate about you is you keep winning. My favorite thing is you sometimes lose. This is
I
what I wanna
sometimes
hear.
lose. Yeah. So I thought you'd like this. So the next night, I played another big game, which was even bigger than the first game, which is 10, it was 10, 20, 40. And I only bought in for like 3,000. So I'm like, I'm not trying to go crazy, but, um, and I was like, I'm gonna have 2 buy-ins for this game, and that's it. So this game was not a privately managed game. This was just you just walk up and play. And that game was absolutely terrible. It was me, one other guy I knew from the night before who was just like a normal guy, is fine. And then the other 6 people at the table, or 7 people, whatever it was, were all what I like to call robots. They're just like
Mm,
super hardcore professionals. They've got everything memorized. They know every
probably
spot.
German.
Some of them were German. I mean, there's all kinds of stereotypes. There was like a little Asian girl, which is not what you want to see at the poker table. There
Mhm.
was 22-year-old really smart kid. You don't want to see
Mhm.
that guy at the table. There was modelly looking dude who like, but why is he not modeling sitting at this poker table?
Mhm.
You don't want to see that. It was like literally
Terrifying.
every stereotype of person you don't want to see at a poker table. They were all there. And yeah, it was terrible. It was a horrible game. I was up a little bit and then I lost. I had a full house, which I lost the quads. So that was my one buy-in gone. And I played one more buy-in and I lost that one. And I was like, all right, I
Whoa,
can't play
so
in
you
this game
lost
anymore.
6 grand the second
Yes, I
night?
lost
Oh my
six of the
gosh!
I lost six
Jennifer
of the
would
eight
kill me.
back. Well, I mean, I won eight, so I'm still up, but like
Yeah.
it was unfortunate. So played a couple other sessions, smaller, normal stakes for me stuff, won several thousand more. So I was up a few thousand, but I could have been up a lot more if I didn't play. It was just a bad game. And I shouldn't have even played it. So that was a mistake I made.
Wow.
But it was fun. Won a little bit of money, net win. Had some great meals, had some nice
Did
conversation, had
Daniel
some great
win?
ice
Did
cream.
Bossman Chris win?
Bossman Chris didn't play, and Daniel did not win. He also lost a bit, so it was a
Ah,
little rough, real rough
okay.
there for
Alright, well,
for
that's
us.
keeping me out of
But
the game for another week because I don't wanna
there you
lose.
go.
I only
We
wanna
gotta get you
win.
in there. So in the middle of all this, I'm trying to play poker. I'm trying to go out to dinner. Jamie and Mia are having like this all kinds of stuff going on on their trip with like weather stuff, and then their flight was canceled. So I was going to pick them up the next day at JFK. So I stayed an extra night so I could pick them up after their flight was canceled. And then their next flight was canceled. So now they are still in Florida till Wednesday now. So now I got to pick them up tomorrow morning. And I just came home after that. I was like, well, I'm not waiting down here in Philly anymore. So I'm home. And then,
They're
yeah,
messing up the
I'll go
pod
tomorrow.
schedule, so sorry we're a day
Yeah,
late, folks.
exactly. This is why we're a day late. Thought I was gonna be picking up people at JFK, and I was not because this big storm messed it all up. So
And listen, if you're thinking if it's Tuesday and you're thinking, "Where's my podcast? I gotta have my podcast. I need my podcast." Just remember to go out and tweet about how much you love the podcast because clearly you're feeling withdrawals from the
yeah.
podcast.
Mhm.
And you had to wait one day, dear listener, to get the podcast, which shows you how much you love it. So tell everyone how
Tell
much you
everyone.
love it so we can raise the sponsorship rates and we can play more poker.
Yes, it's all about the poker. This is what it all comes down to. This is what people don't
That's right.
understand. Even my wife doesn't understand this. It's all about the poker. At the end of the
All about the
day,
poker.
it's all about the poker.
Well, you're back. You're
I'm back.
$2,000 richer, not 8,
Yes.
sadly,
Yeah.
but we'll take
Unfortunate.
2. That's good. All right, what do we got going on? Where do we want to go?
Well, you were mentioning there, we actually have had a ton of lovely feedback from people lately. So keep that up. We've had a lot of people loving on the show. We do truly appreciate that. Thank you out there. But yeah, we have a lot of stuff to talk about. I don't know. What do you got going on?
I want to talk just briefly. I want to
Mm.
talk some tech.
Ooh,
Okay.
okay.
So transcribing or transcoding videos.
Oh, wow, this is like techie tech. Okay, let's do
Techie
it.
tech. This is going to be
Mm.
mostly tech. Nicole. So I have a lot of videos that I need to get onto websites, right?
Okay, yep.
Whether that's database school or faster.dev, whatever.
Mhm.
And I need to transcode them into multiple different, I think bit rates is the technically
Okay.
correct term. So I transcoded into 2K, 1080, 720, and maybe 480. So we
Mhm.
can do adaptive streaming, yada, yada, yada.
Okay.
That obviously is a very resource intensive process,
Mhm.
taking a big video and turning it into 2 big videos and 2 small videos and chunked up with HLS segments so that the streaming can work nice and smooth.
Mhm.
I've been around and around on
Okay.
this, okay? So I've
Mhm.
done the Mac Studio, which rips through it super fast. So I've got the Mac Studio back
Okay.
in the closet. That handles a
Mhm.
bunch of stuff. The problem with that is obviously it's back in the closet.
Right.
um,
Yes.
and so the web server, receives a video and then has to phone home to the Mac Studio. And like it works, but I don't
It's
feel
a little
confident.
janky.
It's a
Yeah.
little janky. It's a
Okay.
little duct tape and bubble gum.
Right.
I have tried Laravel VPS. So Forge has
Okay.
their first party. It's like a DigitalOcean wrapped thing where they keep a warm pool of servers. Laravel VPS. We've gone through this whole. We've probably talked about this where I spin up Laravel VPS boxes that are
Mm.
huge
Right.
to rip through a Laravel queue.
Okay.
That works okay.
Mhm.
I have recently had some issues with Laravel VPS where I'll spin up this big expensive box and then Forge says, "Hey, we can't connect to it." And I'm like, "Well, you
Oh,
you
you
spun it
built
up.
it.
Why can't I
Okay.
connect to it?"
Alright.
Which leaves it in this liminal state where I'm getting charged for it, but I can't use it and I got to go in
Ooh,
and I got to
that's
go in
not
and kill
ideal.
it.
Okay.
And my queues kind of slow down because it's like we spun up the box, but we couldn't deploy the site, and now you don't have your
Mhm.
queue worker.
Right. And nothing
Well,
I
so
hate
that's
worse than a weird state. I don't like a
I
weird
hate a
state.
liminal
A
state. Hate that.
weird state is just nothing worse.
State
That's hours.
state
You're
is
trying to figure out
everything.
where things are at and
It's
like, yeah,
brutal.
it's all the yeah.
It's brutal.
Okay.
Also, when you in Laravel, when you have queues that are supposed to take like 90 minutes to complete per job,
Okay, yeah.
stuff gets just the whole. This has been my singular gripe with Laravel since
Mm.
like 5.4 or whenever I started using it.
Alright. That's
My
an old one.
singular
Yeah.
gripe is the queue retry, timeout, and retry after
Okay.
trifecta. It's
Yeah.
like you got to set the job to have a timeout and the queue to have like the queue worker to have a timeout and
Right.
the
There's
queue to
several
have a
timeouts
retry after.
involved.
And
Yes.
if you don't do it just right, you end up with overlapping jobs
Mhm.
because the job's actually dead, but the queue didn't kill it, or the job is still running, but the queue worker killed it. And so
Right.
that's always just been confusing to me. So,
Yes.
long journey through the darkness.
Okay.
I've now arrived at a false glimmer of hope. I think it's real, but I'm
Okay.
I'm emotionally prepared for it to be false.
Alright.
Modal. Have you heard of Modal?
I don't think so. Let's look it up.
Modal.com. Modal.com.
Modal.com.
Give me the
Oh,
H1.
wow.
Go to modal.com and
Oh,
give me the H1. We'll see what it says.
modal.com.
It's a good
AI
domain.
infrastructure that developers love. Okay, well, that's a very generic
Yeah. That means
H1.
nothing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
What
don't
else
know
do
what
you
this
see?
thing
Is there anything
does.
else on there?
Okay. Run inference training and batch processing with sub-second cold starts, instant auto scaling, and a developer experience that feels local. I still don't know what it does. Am I building my own model? I guess.
Yeah, we don't know what it does.
What
All
does this
right,
have
let's
to do
see.
with what you're doing?
Yeah, it's a great question.
Okay.
All right, so the subhead is
All right.
run
We're building
inference
our own
training and batch
models here.
processing. No, that's nothing. We don't want any of that. Designed to help AI teams deploy faster. No, we don't want any of that. All right, so we're going to go to
Okay.
product and we're going to click on modal sandboxes. Secure
Okay. Oh,
sandboxes.
we're deep now. All right.
Yeah, we're deep. secure sandboxes at massive scale. I think that's the one
Okay.
I'm using is sandboxes.
Okay.
Okay, so you create sandboxes, we handle resource orchestration. All right, that's what I want.
Okay.
Strip out any AI marketing nonsense. I don't want any of that. All I use, so you can scroll down,
Okay.
modal sandbox
Yeah.
pricing, compute costs, point 0.0003942 per core per second.
Right.
So you have like minute high resolution pricing, which is awesome. You
Mhm.
can spin up multiple sandboxes like via HTTP request, right?
Okay.
So now, and they're very focused on Python because it is like AI. Well, I don't know if it was always AI or they're like pivoted to
Right.
AI, but it's like you can run all this Python stuff to do whatever, flippy flab. I don't care.
Yeah.
But what you can also do is you can run FFmpeg on these things,
Okay.
right? And so
Yeah.
I had the clanker write me up basically a very thin like Python wrapper that
Okay.
all it does is it receives a little bit of input and then it basically calls FFmpeg. And
Mm.
so now what the flow is I have these they call them apps. I have these apps on Modal
Okay.
that scale independently. So I
Okay.
can run the 2K, the 1080p, the 720p, and the 480p. I can run all of those at the same time. So I'm already getting better throughput because it used to be one massive FFmpeg script. Now it's
Right.
four.
Okay.
And I can spin up as many of these things as I want and not have to like spin up new Forge VPS servers.
Right.
And FFmpeg is really, really, really good at utilizing the number of cores that it finds itself on per machine.
Okay.
And
Mhm.
so for this, I can say like, hey, give me 16 vCPUs, give me
Right.
32 vCPUs,
Mhm.
and then just rip through it. And
Yeah.
so what happens now is on the Laravel side, I still put a job onto the queue, but the
Mhm.
job only calls out to Modal that
Okay.
does all the FFmpeg, and
Right.
the
So it's just a
Laravel
quick
job
job.
just sits around. Well, it sits around and just
Oh,
polls,
it
so it's
does
super
wait. Okay.
super light.
Okay.
But it does wait. I
Okay.
could make it async and have the Modal thing call back,
Mm.
but I haven't done that yet. So it just sits around and waits. And
Okay.
so I can process like 15 videos at once when I like
Mm.
drop a new series or whatever, and
Right.
Modal will spin up whatever that is, 60 sandboxes,
Right.
rip through them all, and then give them back to me. And well, actually, I think they put them on R2 or something.
Mm.
But it's just so much like it's exactly what I wanted. I wanted a sandbox. I wanted a sandbox that independently scales, that I have
Mm.
control over the vCPUs, and I deploy a very small Python application straight from GitHub Actions as a part of my
Mm.
CI/CD workflow. And now I have one web server on Forge. That's it.
Right.
And everything else, all the hard stuff goes to Modal, and it's been working like a charm. It's working great. So that's my Modal story.
Interesting. This modal thing seems intriguing. I like this idea of sandboxes. I don't know what I would actually use it for, but it
We'll figure it
is
out.
yeah, it is like it's like one of
Something.
these things that like that seems kind of cool, like to find
Mm-hmm.
a reason to do something with it.
I know.
Um, all right, I have a dumb question for you.
Okay.
Now, couldn't you just use like Wistia and wouldn't it just do all this for you and you just like embed the player in the
I could
thing
use
and done?
Vimeo.
Or Vimeo
Yes.
or whatever?
Yes. I
Okay.
can, and I have used Vimeo.
Okay.
So when we were doing, it was one of the early ones, maybe it was mastering Postgres or something.
Mhm.
Um, we were still on Vimeo, and they came to us and they're like, "Hey, your bandwidth is kind of high. We could do like $16,000 or $20,000 a year enterprise
Mm.
plan for you." And we were like, "What?" Like,
Alright, alright,
we're
okay, so
we're
that
just
end of it.
two guys with two courses, and you want to charge us 20 grand a year?
Right, yeah.
I think Jeffrey I don't know if Jeffrey's moved on to Mux or something else, but for
Mm,
a long time up until maybe including now, he's used Vimeo. And Vimeo does all of this for you. It does
okay.
all the transcoding,
Yeah.
all the streaming, everything.
Right.
The the setup that I use is one that mostly Steve invented, which is
Mhm.
um we just use a simple script that does HLS encoding, and so it turns huge videos into tiny chunks, and then we throw
Mm,
those chunks on R2, and all egress out of R2 is totally free. And so instead of
right.
20,000 a year, I incur this little bit of pain of like figuring out how to transcode these things, and then we serve videos for
Mm,
like $4 to $5 a
right.
year, because egress is free, so I'm just paying for
Right.
like the cold storage or whatever. So
But it's
yes, I
not
could
actually
use Vimeo.
streaming, is it? Is it actually streaming?
It is, yeah.
Okay, interesting. I
So
didn't know you could
the
stream off of R2 or whatever.
yeah, it is streaming. Obviously, it's not live streaming, but it's streaming because the video JS, which is like an open source video player, works
Mm.
with HLS, and HLS is
Oh,
the
right.
like
Is that where it's
HLS
chunked
is
up?
exactly. It's you first receive this manifest that says, "Here
Mm,
are all the chunks, and here are all the different bit rates."
I see.
And either the browser or Video.js does a
Something
little
figures
bit
it
of
out.
introspection to be like, "How much can I handle?"
Right.
And it picks the right bit rate. And if it
Yep.
degrades, then it lowers a bit rate for the next chunk. So it doesn't
Yeah.
like stop and restart. It's just like, hey, these
Right.
are all like equal sized chunks across these 4 bit rates. So we can hop back and forth as
Yep.
needed.
I gotcha. Okay, that's pretty good. I don't mind that.
It's not bad.
It's not bad. I'm always like, I feel like these things, I guess the thing I tend to default to is more like, I'm just gonna use Wistia or Vimeo or whatever. Because you get up with like your homegrown thing and then it breaks, right? Like
Oh,
the
it
thing,
breaks
and you
all the
gotta
time.
rebuild it, and then
Gotta
like
rebuild it.
I'm rebuilding it, like you're in all that stuff. That's like you're down in the weeds, it's taking a lot of time. You're not even
Yep.
sure if it's working correctly, which is also then its own weird thing. Like, did you actually test every
Yep.
bit rate of every type, or some people getting a bad encoding and like blah blah blah. Like that's the part that bothers me with those kind of things. But I do see that all of them, and just quick looking around, like the bandwidth seems somewhat limited for what you're doing. So like you're gonna
Yeah,
be
it's
into the
bad.
overages, and that's kind of annoying. So it might be just such a huge financial trade-off there that I guess this could be a case where it makes sense to
Yeah.
try to do it.
And after Vimeo got bought by private equity, I just can't imagine it's gonna get better in terms of, like, the enterprise sales
Yeah.
folks reaching out.
Right.
Like, we got an enterprise a friendly enterprise hello before they were bought by Bending Spoons, and so now,
Right.
like, I can't imagine they're gonna just go easy on the little guy anymore.
Yeah.
That's not
No.
really what private
Yeah,
equity does, so
yeah.
I think it's gonna continue to get worse.
I've never really used Vimeo. I do actually, we might have used it for Lyrica Online for a little bit, but, I use Wistia, and it seems fine, but my needs are tiny compared to what you're doing, so
And Wistia's market position is slightly different than like a course thing. It's more like,
mm,
hey, you want to track. It's basically like a marketing tech, which
it's
it's
more
very, very
marketing.
good at
I
in
see.
terms of
You wanna see where they
tracking and
stopped and
capturing CTAs and all of that kind of stuff.
mm,
Wistia is amazing for that, but it's just really not built for, hey, we've got 500 videos and people
right,
may be watching, 50 a day individually or whatever. So
right.
it's more like, hey, put this video on your homepage and we'll track everything that's important to you.
Right, right, right. It's more, yeah, specific to the marketing angle
Hmm.
on it. Mm. Okay, well, that seems overall, I mean, it seems like we've ended up in a pretty good spot. Seems like
I
the
think so.
modal app is, I think it seems, the thing is, part of what went wrong with the Forge setup for you to some degree, I think I mean, I know I even saw on Twitter where it was coming up that there's like a technical issue with that going on, I think a little
Yeah,
bit that hopefully they fixed. But it's also you're just using the wrong tool for the job to some
correct.
degree, right? Like this is like you need these ephemeral servers that
Hmm.
once a month or once every couple of weeks you're spinning up to do some stuff, and that's not really what Forge is. Like obviously you could abuse it that way, but like
Yep.
this is specifically designed for
This
like,
is
hey, you want
that.
to throw up a
Yeah.
server for 10 minutes? Great. Like you want 64 cores for half an hour, do it. And
Yep.
that's what it does. And it's not loading up the web server and PHP and a bunch of other
Correct.
crap that you don't need. It's just boom, instant, empty shell of a server. Do what you want. Off you go. So I like it. I like things like that.
I know, it's cool. It's
I want to have a thing
fun.
like that.
That's part of the problem is it's fun.
Sure, that's it. I don't know when you do all this stuff. You're very productive. You know that? Your productivity is
Wow!
high. Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah,
Uh, I work a lot,
right.
and I don't feel very productive, so that's awesome.
Okay, yeah. Well, you're maybe spreading yourself too thin, so even though you're being productive in a lot of
Wow,
areas,
this is the
any
first I'm
one
hearing of that.
area
Yeah.
isn't getting as far as you might like
Huh.
because you're trying to do 7 things at once.
You're the first person in my life to bring that up.
That's
That's really interesting.
I do have to say this is like a thing. Well, I will say it's sort of interesting. I think that's been an Aaron thing for a little while. I think this
Hmm.
predates the AI thing. But for me, I feel like the AI has gotten me and I see other people. Like while I was
Yeah.
away, I started a new side project to the side project, a Laravel Nude.
Yes! Laravel
Laravel
Nude!
Nude. And yeah, so there is like it's in the air right now too, I think, right? It's like you want to be building stuff, whatever. You got too many ideas, not enough time, blah blah blah.
Hmm.
But I, part of this new little side to the side project is I use this thing called Superpowers, which I did I think share with you, which is really cool. It's like this like little framework, I would call it, of skills.
I wanna hear about
Mm.
superpowers. You know what I wanna hear about
Oh,
first?
what do you want to hear about first, Aaron?
I wanna hear about some lovely companies in our space that are
That's a
doing
great idea.
great work. That's what I wanna hear about first.
You're a freaking genius. You're a
Come
genius. You
on.
know that?
Hey, come
All
on.
right, let's go. Ray, debug in style with newly released version 3 of Ray. Version 3 looks better than ever with a redesigned UI and themes, feels snappier than ever with major performance improvements, and is ready for the future with a built in MCP server and more new features to come. Check them out at myray.app. Laravel Private Cloud. Laravel Cloud frees your team from hands-on infrastructure work so they can ship product features faster. And did you know Laravel Private Cloud is Laravel's isolated infrastructure offering, ideal for organizations with strict security, compliance, or performance requirements? You can VPC peer in existing AWS resources and have full control over networking and compute. Check it out at cloud.laravel.com/enterprise. And finally, our friends over at Ittybit. Ittybit hooks into your storage bucket and handles all the annoying parts of processing large media files for you. If your project needs video, audio, or image processing that scales, then you should check them out at ittybit.com. Thanks to the sponsors making the show happen. Um, yeah, so great idea on your part to do a
I
little
appreciate that.
ad read.
A little
Good call.
tease. You used
I
your
was
superpowers? Well, hang on. Let's talk about some super companies. All right. What is superpowers? Tell me.
Did you know about this before or no? Or
Not
this is the
before
first you're hearing
you
it?
no, not before you DM'd it.
Okay, so it's a thing. It's got like 85,000 GitHub stars or something. Um, it's a series of skills, and I'm not usually one for this type of like
I know
the
that.
skills all connect together into a
You're not one for
massive
the
blob
Gary
of
Tan
stuff.
G Stack
Oh
operating
no.
system.
Somebody just sent me this I didn't even know about that one either until like this morning somebody sent me that and I was looking
It's
I was like, "No, this is not
no.
working for me. This is not
It's
for me."
psychosis.
Yeah, and it's just like yeah, it's just not the way I think about it. But the superpowers, it's very interesting. It's got like this brainstorming, and it does like a really good job with the brainstorming with you. And then it's got like the agent implementers, and then those build work trees. Again, this is the part where like everybody's trying to build the work trees outside of the LLM. I'm like, the LLM just knows how to do it. Just let it
Yeah.
do it when it wants to do it. And it's worked great. Like it's like the agents go off and they build the work tree, and like it's it's all seamless. I don't know. I don't even know why you need the harness to do any of it. So it seems like you don't. But anyway, it's all working good. I built the whole V1 of this side project just through the brainstorming session. There was like 5 hours of like did the brainstorm, then like me and counselors did some heavy work on like the document that was created, did all that, went back and forth there, then like it ended up being like 6,000 lines. So we went through and made a simplified version that was like cleaned up. But then that
The
missed some
markdown
stuff.
file was 6,000
Yeah,
lines?
yeah. And then, I don't
Oh.
have simple ideas there. And it's like, oh, it's always complicated.
Oh my
So
gosh.
we got that back down to like 8 or 900, but then it had missed things because part of why it had 6,000 lines to begin with is because I had a lot of code samples, but like it didn't even like write up the sort of purpose of a feature wasn't written up in prose. It was like, here is a code chunk that is the
Mm.
purpose. So it's like, so the translation to the streamlined version had missed some of those. So me and the counselors went back in and like we made sure we extracted that stuff and got it all in there. So got it done. Then the superpowers have the ability to like implement it, which I've seen a lot of people doing more of like the gas towny type, like build a million issues implementation. This doesn't work that way. This like has one implementing thread and then it's spinning off sub agents and it's like building the whole thing at once. So it went for like 4 hours and like built the whole thing at once.
Wow.
And it built it and it worked. I mean, it's definitely
In
not
with what
perfect,
model?
but this was Claude. Yep.
Okay, so Superpowers is orchestrating Claude to just keep going.
Yeah, it could do Coda, it could do all of them, but yes, it is. I used Claude and it was, yeah, so it's like the main Claude thread is going and it's like stuff's what, I've got 6 agents going and they're going and they return and it's like it sends off more. It's this particular thing, which I'm not huge personally of, but I think for AI development is kind of interesting. It's all like test driven development. So it's
Cool,
like it
yeah.
has the agents write the tests first that are failing, blah, blah. We all know what test driven development is. So that's what the superpowers angle is on it. Yeah, so I really like it. The only thing I would say if you're going to try it out is like, I'm not, it's one of these things where like it has a hook. So it hooks into when you know, Claude Code loads, and so it sets up its own environment a little bit with a skill that's like use superpowers in these cases, whatever. So like you're really buying in fully. So like for
Right.
this side project, it was fine because I'm like, whatever. I'm just want to try this thing. I got this idea. I'm just doing it from the start. We'll see if it works. If it doesn't work, who cares? Putting it in an existing project, you're kind of like buying into that, doing that. It's not, and it does. It's not totally forcing on you. I have to say, it's pretty interesting. It seems to interject itself correctly so far, but since it's setting itself up with the hooks, I do think there's like you just have to be a little cautious that like if you were using it on something existing that you're kind of ready for it to interject itself more forcefully.
That's one of the
Yeah.
things I don't get about like God forbid G Stack or
Mhm.
Superpowers will say. It's like I think it works great for going from 0 to 1, but
Right.
once you're in like if you're building Laravel Cloud, right?
Right.
If you're Jason Beggs, who hasn't been
Mhm.
mentioned on the show for at
Ah,
least one
Jason
show, which
Bangs,
is
man.
brutal.
Love
So
that guy.
If you're Jason Beggs, are you pulling in superpowers to work on Cloud and let her rip for 4 hours, or is this just like let's go from no app or no feature to app or feature? Do you see what I
So,
mean?
yeah, I do see what you mean. I actually think I don't know about the other ones, but in Superpower's case, I actually think I was actually the one abusing it to go from 0 to 1. I actually think
Okay.
it's not really ideal for 0. It's better than me manually doing it all. I think it actually worked nicely. It brainstormed, it came up with some good ideas. We worked through some stuff. So it was good for 0 to 1 too, but I actually think that would end up being kind of a bigger chunk than it's meant to take on
Hmm.
necessarily. I don't even know if that's true, but it was a big chunk. It was a lot of stuff. That's why I had to like manually go through the markdown. I think like,
Yeah.
it was a bigger thing because it was like 0 to 1 and it was a bunch of stuff. Um, I actually think it is more set up for the like, let's brainstorm this one new feature. Okay, it's going to brainstorm that feature with you. Okay, it's going to figure out all it needs to do. It's going to send the agents out to do it, to write the tests and build the things. And it's going to be that one feature is done. So I actually think it is kind of more for that. Day in, day out. And I think it would be good at that. It's like, it is a totally different way of working, right? Like, it's not the like, I'm just looking around as me and kind of like rolling through stuff. But I feel like I'm ready to like leverage it up a little bit more and save some more time. But I also feel like whenever I do that with just the pure AI, sometimes things get a little off the rails and they don't, the AI gets a little lost in there. And it's like, so then that makes me come down to smaller bite sized chunks, which it does really well. But now I'm not actually saving as much time because
Right.
I am like in the details on like
Like a
lots of little
caveman.
chunks. Right. So I'm seeing if this strategy lets me give it bigger, chunkier tasks and have them come out at least mostly right, and then, just refining. So far so good. I put it into
So
outro, but I haven't used it in outro yet, so that'll be
what are
interesting to
we
see.
building
Oh, we're
here?
not gonna talk about that, Aaron. You know we don't talk about
No.
that. You know we don't talk about that. It's gonna be something that works with outro. It has nothing to do, like, with what outro does, but it'll accompany outro. Um, it might be something I just use for me. It might not even make it. This is it would be another big product, so I don't know. We'll see. It
Brutal.
will reveal itself when the time is right, and the time is
In the
not right because
fullness of
it's
time
in
is
the
what I like to
fullness of
say.
time. Yes, I have not had enough time to let it percolate. It doesn't, even work yet, I gotta get it working, there's not a lot of
Well,
time for
that's the
that,
hardest
so
part, if I'm being honest, is getting it to
exactly.
work. Yeah, I can
Yes,
get it to work, but to get it to work,
exactly. There's a lot of
that
steps in
takes
this
the same
thing.
amount of time it took to get it to work.
Exactly. So there's
Um,
a
you
high probability I
mentioned
ban this thing.
you mentioned outro.
Yes.
It is March 17th.
Oh god, this poker trip really set me back.
Oh, it's always something. It's a gallbladder, it's a poker trip, it's always something.
I got excuses.
What is the status?
The status is it's coming along. It's gonna be ready for you and me end of the month, as I believe I've committed to. That's my goal.
End of the month, or you have to get a Laravel new tattoo.
Oh, only if we do it together.
No, there's nothing in
Uh,
it for me. I'll do it again. I'll do it for $750,000.
oh, that's right.
So if it reaches the end of the month and you have
Mm.
$750,000, we can both get Laravel new tattoos.
Dude, I wish I was rich enough to have you do this. I just think that would
I
be so
wish
much
you were
fun.
rich enough to have me do this.
That would be great.
Take
Just
however much
show
you
up.
wish and double it, because that's how much I wish. All right, end of
That's
the month. End of the month.
75 wrapped stacks of $10,000. That'd be fun. Show up with a
Oh,
duffel
that
bag of
would
that
be
for you, drop it off.
fun.
Yeah, that'd be good.
I'm a simple man. All I want is $750,000 to get a small tattoo.
End of the month.
End of the month.
The like sort of what we use Trello for now part is very mostly there's like some AI generated bits of like functionality that I don't like how they work. It's a part I let it go bigger on. So I want to like double back,
Don't
clean
care.
some of that up.
Don't care. Let her rip.
You want no,
I
I don't
want
like
it.
it. I don't
I
like
need
it.
it.
And so I gotta clean that up. And then I would like to get the mailbag going too, but that's probably not gonna happen before the end of the month, which is fine. That's not like a huge deal for us and our use. So we will get that in.
Cut the scope, baby.
The superpowers are gonna help me because I'm gonna give it some bigger, chunkier stuff. And we're gonna see how it does. So that'll be interesting to report back on that and see how it does with something that's a little that I've been more intimately involved with, and that is farther along, and to see if you can inject this little framework situation in here and have it do a good job. So I'm kind of curious about that. One other thing I wanted to mention in that, if anybody does try it, might just be me, but one of the things the Superpowers does is it says, "Hey, like plan with the best model and use the cheaper model to implement." And I don't want
Yeah,
any part of that. I don't want
I
any
don't like
cheaper
that.
models near anything.
Mm-mm.
So
I got
it does.
stacks. I got wrapped
Yeah,
stacks, and you want me to use
no.
Sonnet? Get
No, I don't want
real.
Sonic. Get the hell out of here with the Sonic. So you can just tell it when you kick it off, you can just say, "Hey, like, make sure you use, the best model for everything." And then it does honor that. So, because when the agents start, at least in Claude Code, it tells you what model they're on. It implemented it and it did it right. So that was good. So yeah, that's my AI story that I did in a dingy-ish hotel room outside of Philadelphia because I switched hotels for the back half of the trip. And yeah.
You're such a
That's
hotel maxer. You and your hotels, you're always like, "Hey, I know everyone's staying here. I'm staying here. I'm also staying here."
I gotta be in the right hotel, man. It's all about the right hotel. I gotta be convenient. I gotta be in the right spot. I don't want to be driving 30 minutes to the hotel at 2 in the morning after playing poker. That is no fun.
You and your travel proclivities. I got a bonus ad read for you today, Ian, which you
Do
agreed
it.
to, by the way. You agreed to this at some point. So
Oh, did I?
this may come as a surprise to you, but you did
Okay.
agree.
All
Whether or
right.
not you remember it is an open question. But first,
Okay.
the traditional ad reads. This episode
Mm.
is brought to you by Bento, dear friend Jesse, the email marketing and CRM platform built for the AI era. Send your product marketing and transactional email with Bento, bentonow.com. Tell Jesse we sent you. And SavvyCal appointments, scheduling infrastructure for agencies and in-house dev teams from the makers of SavvyCal. So if you're building appointments into your app, check out savvycal.com/appointments. And the bonus read. Do you have any idea where this is going?
I do remember agreeing to this. I honestly can't remember who it's for, so I'm glad you
Yeah!
remembered.
This episode and a round of drinks at Laracon EU was brought to you and is brought to you by Laravel Live Denmark. So we're sitting at the bar, right?
That's right. Yes.
We're having fun. Gen Z Abby has led a parade to this bar. Everybody's hanging out. We're having a great time.
Yeah.
And Casper comes up. Casper comes up and says, "How much do I have to pay you for an ad read on Mostly Technical?" And I said, "1 beer, sir."
This is a cheap way to get sponsored.
This is a cheap way to get in. So I walked over to Ian and I said, "Hey, listen, if Casper buys us drinks, can we do an ad read?" And he's like, "What are you talking about?" Sure, that sounds great. So here we are, Laravel Live Denmark. Laravel Live Denmark is happening in Copenhagen, Denmark, on August 20th and 21st. I think this is like the third or fourth one they've done. It's actually quite large for a Laravel Live. So this is like, this is the real deal. It looks like they've got Sebastian Bergman, who's the creator of PHP Unit. Freek is going to be there. The native PHP boys. I think friend of the show, Matthias Hansen, will be there. So they'll have a lot of people there. It's a great show. So check out Laravel Live Denmark at laravellive.dk. So if you want a one-off ad read, just find me somewhere in Europe and buy me a beer and listen. You're in. That's it. You're in.
Now, to be fair, I think he bought everybody a beer? I believe
he did. He bought a round of drinks.
He bought a round, so we're not that cheap. We're not one. We're not that cheap. This was like 20 people, I'd say ish. So he bought a round.
I don't know how many ended up getting. But he came back with a whole bunch of beers, and we shook hands on it, so it made it official.
That bar we went to, let me tell you, I was nursing my voice through the whole Mostly Technical party.
This is another Ian thing. This is such an Ian thing.
So I was nursing my voice and I was like talking the whole time. I didn't stop talking for 2 minutes, the whole party, but I was being cautious. My voice was still there at the end of the party. And then we would go to this bar, Gen Z Abby picked out, which I have a little beef with Gen Z Abby. She managed to find the loudest bar in all of Amsterdam.
Because she's got good ears. She's got those young ears. She can hear everything.
It's the voice. It's the voice, man. Like, well, the hearing's not so good on me either. That part was a little annoying. But the voice, I had to yell the whole time.
And you do such a great false yell. You do the Jerry Seinfeld false yell. And it's just great. But somehow, 6 seconds into any party, Ian's like, I'm starting to lose my voice, man.
I'm losing it.
What the hell are you talking about?
Gen Z Abby did a nice job in Denver of leading us on a parade where we found a place that had the outdoor area.
The outdoor patio? Are you crazy?
It was great.
That was great.
So,
Gen
Z Abby.
That will be burned into my memory when I looked over. I was sitting with John and I looked over and Ian and Gen Z Abby are having this heart-to-heart about life is short. Go live your dreams, and John and I are just like laughing. It was the purest thing ever. She's like, I want to travel, and Ian's like, you got to travel. Yeah, it was so great.
She has no house. I'm like, you have no house. You got to embrace it. You got to travel while you can. Do it.
And she is. She's living in, I think, Italy now.
Really? Holy cow!
I know.
Jeez. Yeah, we had John O'Nolan there. Gen Z Abby, you also have to bring John O'Nolan. If I'm somewhere and you're somewhere, I need John O'Nolan there. This is another criteria. I just need John O'Nolan. If we're doing a parade, John O'Nolan
bring John O'Nolan. Listen, I have, and I'll say it without making any promises whatsoever, zero promises.
Okay.
I brought up the idea to Jennifer about joining us in Boston.
This is what I'm talking about.
For at least one night. I don't think she can come, I don't think she can abandon the children for that many days.
Yeah.
But for at least one night. And I told Gen Z Abby, if Jennifer comes, you have to lead a parade specifically for Jennifer.
Yeah.
And she is into it. So I don't
Very
know if it's
good.
going to happen. I don't
Mm.
know if it's going to happen, but Jennifer was like, I really want to come and like go out on the town with y'all. It's like, oh,
Is
that would
Jennifer
be awesome.
is Jennifer a drinker?
Not really.
Okay,
I mean,
I'm
she
just curious.
drinks, but
She does drink.
she
Okay,
does drink. Yeah,
okay,
but
that's all right. She's
neither of
not an
us.
alcoholic, but
She's not an
she's
alcoholic by any
okay.
means. No, let
Okay.
that be on the record, loud
Right,
and
right.
clear.
Yeah.
Um,
I still
no,
think you should bring the
very
kids.
light, very light drinker.
I think you should bring the
Kids are
kids.
not gonna come. Kids are not
You
gonna
gotta bring the
come.
kids. Bring the oldest
Not.
one, not the younger two. The older two.
I don't know, because then it's like we put them down in the hotel, and then we go out and what? Who's in the hotel with them?
Yeah, they'll be all right in there. You put on, Beanie Babies.
I don't think that's a thing to put on Beanie Babies. I
No,
recognize
you'd
those
have
words, but I
to.
don't think they go together. I don't think you put on Beanie
Maybe
Babies.
my kids could watch your kids. How about that?
Now, you know, this is
We're
called
talking.
synergy. Now we're
Yeah,
cooking.
something like that. We get them. They make a little money. Um,
I I will make this promise,
mm,
100% promise.
yeah.
None of our children will come to Boston. So that much I know for
Well,
sure.
that's
Whether Jennifer comes is an open question, but I
yeah.
can guarantee no 5-year-olds will join us in
Not bringing the
Boston.
5-year-olds. See, I have to say, I think the idea of like, I want to get the kids there because I feel like they don't. The kids they don't have any idea what you do. And it's like this. I want to
And if we
expose
brought
them
them to
to some of it.
Boston, they would leave having no idea what I
Yes, they'd
do.
be like, it's so cool. Everybody went up to Dad and was like, they love Dad, and that's so cool. Like Dad's up on
No.
stage.
Now that would be cool. If they saw me up on
Yeah,
stage,
that's what I'm
that
saying.
would
Just
be
for
fun.
like, not the whole. I'm saying be there for an hour or 2 hours, right? And they're
Yeah.
just like taking it in, seeing Dad do his thing.
Maybe if the next Laracon is in like this is testing my geography, Oklahoma, New
That seems
Mexico.
unlikely. Maybe Dallas again. That
What's to
seems
the
more
right of
likely.
us? Is Louisiana directly
You
to the
don't know. You
right, or
don't
is
know.
that
You're a
Mississippi?
Texan. You have no idea what's going on. You
I have
don't know
no
anything
idea
outside the
what's going
borders.
on. No, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Or if they come back to Dallas,
Yeah.
that would be more feasible for sure.
Okay. Well, we should work on that.
And I think when you talk about directions, you're not supposed to say right, you're supposed to say east.
Yeah,
So
I think that's probably true.
open question. All right, what else we got?
Texas school system showing off its skills.
Yeah.
So I'm doing this thing where I'm trying to isolate the Claude, right? Because I want the Claude to
You
run
are.
dangerously. It's 10 times better when you can run dangerously. It just can do anything that you want it to do. So much better.
Which is the problem, but yeah.
That is also the problem. I tried all the things. I tried the VM. I tried the stupid Docker. I tried to like put it up on a server. It's all bad. It's all doesn't work well with like your local environment, be able to see stuff. I want to use my Mac apps to be able to do things and see things. I can't do that if it's up on some server somewhere. Now I got to pull request things around and I hate all that. So I've landed on an alternate standard Mac user on my computer that I can go over to. It can't sudo, it can't do anything, but on there runs the Claude in this sandbox environment that Apple has created for us, which we all forgot about user accounts, but your computer has user accounts.
Isn't it adorable that you
them.
can imagine sharing a computer with someone? Like the family computer has logins for the whole crew. That's the
wild.
Sweetest thing I've ever heard of.
That
no
is
chance.
That's 1980s energy right
It
there.
is.
Yeah.
So, right, so you made a non-admin user.
Yes. So in the 80s, they needed user accounts on computers and they built them and they still have them. And you can actually use them even though none of us think about the computer having multiple accounts. Like this didn't even cross my mind.
And it's kind of foundational that
it's foundational
that mom and dad and the kids don't share documents. And so that's like fully built in, fully isolated, baked for 1,000 years. And so now your agents have their own little Mac login.
Yes. And so that's the thing. It's like, whatever. I'm not the guy who's worried about the like, they find the 0 day and prompt inject you. If you hack through my Mac OS user, so be it. You got me.
You win.
Whatever. Like, you win. So I'm not worried about that. I don't have anything that's targetable. China's not targeting me to get the secret keys to HelpSpot Cloud. Like, they don't care. So, like, and even then, you're going to have to get through the Mac security layer to do it. So I feel very confident in that's well tested. They're on it. So yes, I have the standard user. Everything's running over there. And it's great because it's just a full-on user. So I have my solo running over there. I
Mm,
have GitHub Desktop running over there, so I can look at the changes. I have, and then inside solo, and I have Ghosty for regular terminal stuff
mhm.
sometimes, and I have uh, Chrome is there, and I have everything's there. It's all running in that account, and it's separate from the main account. But Claude can run free, can go
Talk to
naked.
me about log in, log out.
So this is the key. So this is the thing. I set this up, and it was clunky, but logging in and logging out's bad. Then there's fast user switching, which I might have even talked about on here last week. I don't remember, but you can have fast user switching, which Mac has. So you can go up to your top bar and you can switch users. Great, and
Okay.
then you can touch ID it, but
And
it's still like a
all
couple
the apps
seconds.
continue to run.
Everything's still running. So this is a key
Cool.
thing. If you have the fast switching on, you don't log out of the account, so everything's running everywhere, which is great because you go back and everything's right where you left it. You can kick off Claude. You can go back to your main account. You can go back there. It's still running, but it's clunky. Still a little clunky. It was to do it like 100 times a day
Sure.
was going to be a little bit annoying. But then I discovered a not well documented feature at all, very, very badly documented feature of Apple, which is that you can train the accounts to specific fingers on your hand. And
What?
so then you can just put your finger on the Touch ID and click down with the correct finger, and it will switch you to that account instantly.
What?
So it's some freaking magic. And I just have my middle finger as the coder guy, and my right finger is the main guy. And you can just lay your finger on it for a tenth of a second, then push
So
down,
on a
boom,
keyboard like
switch.
this,
That keyboard right there. Yep.
this keyboard right
That
here,
guy.
Touch
Yeah.
ID,
Yeah.
it is a button, which is I
Yes.
never press. I don't know why
Okay.
it's a button. I don't know
This
why
is why
it's
it's a button. This is why.
So you're telling me I can set it up such that I can put my middle finger on there and press,
Yes.
and it will switch me to that account.
Instantly.
That is
It's
pretty metal.
magic.
That is
So
super
you just go
cool.
back and forth between them instantly. So now it's like it's almost faster than like 3-finger swiping to the other desktop, which is like how I usually run things.
That
go
is
back and forth.
crazy.
So it's crazy. It works great. I mean,
Look
it
at
takes
this
like
old dog learning new tricks. This is
takes
wild.
a few minutes to like figure it out. There's like a cadence to it, so just like you got to figure it out, and you got to make sure by default, if you set up your second finger, both fingers will be attached to like the main account. You don't want that. You have to
Don't
go
want
into the
that.
settings, and each account has only one finger associated with it. And you can actually label the fingers, which the UI doesn't make it clear you can do that, but you can actually click on the text that says like finger 1. If you click on that, you can rename it. So you can rename it to like dev account, and the other one could be main account.
I've never
whatever.
heard the word finger so much in my life.
Finger.
Strange word.
Finger.
All right, so finger 1
Finger
can
1
be main account. Finger
Right.
2 can be fast Claude account.
Yes.
And it's
Yeah.
just like, how does it manifest? Does it just like all your apps fade and then come in? Is it
Yeah,
act
it's like
a
quick
fast switcher?
fade. like a
Oh
quick fade.
man, that's
Yeah,
cool.
It's cool. So if you're in this spot I'm in out there, people, I would try this. It was very nice. It's nice to have all your Mac apps there. It's like all my
Yeah.
development stuff now is just in this developer account. In the main account, I just run like, my communication stuff, got Slack and Telegram, whatever. Got the main browser for businessy stuff, HelpSpot, whatever. And yeah, it's great. So obviously it's using more resources, but I'm on a MacBook Air.
Resources
It's
are
maxed
free.
out. Yeah, it's fine. So I want a MacBook Pro. I just want more RAM again, but it's so much thicker. I just love the MacBook Air. It's so thin and wonderful and light.
Now, what's 1 pound versus 2? 1 pound versus 3.
No,
That's
it's
just
like
not a difference.
it is. It's a big difference. I was like you. I thought that's true, but I went from the 16-inch MacBook Pro to this thing, and it's like it's revolution.
Nah, I'm gonna be young forever. That's not gonna make a difference to me.
It's not. It's just I don't know. I know. I'm torn. I want to get the new one. They got the new one, all the fast stuff.
They do.
But
You
then
could
they're going
spend
to be
$10,000. I
crazy.
spec'd one out and it was like
Yeah.
$89.99. I'm like, are
Yeah.
you kidding me?
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's only one poker session though. I'm not even worried about that. I'm worried about
Well,
it's being heavy. You know what I'm saying?
it's only one poker session as long as you don't play a second poker session. That's how they get you.
That's true. That's true.
This is great. This is a
Anyway,
revelation.
I think people should try it. This is something I have not heard of many people doing. My brother actually turned me on to it, so job Joe. But
Good job,
he
Joe.
goes another layer where he has a VM in the other account, so it's like truly fully isolated. That's like too much for
Ain't
me.
nobody got time for that.
I don't have time for that right now. I might get there at some point. I'm not there right now. So anyway, the second user, the fast switching with the finger switching, great. Love it.
Love it. Love
Good
that for
stuff.
you.
Good stuff.
Um,
Give us
we
a what else you got going on?
we've been known to provoke the ire of
Uh-oh.
certain groups of people. You know,
Nah,
we
sometimes
get
we
some
gotta do that.
comments making fun
Mhm.
of our vibe coded apps.
Okay.
We get some comments. Last
Sure.
week, we provoked the ire of the Worktree Maxis.
Oh, the Worktree
Oh, they came
Maxis.
out. They came out with their
Oh.
takes. God
They
bless
did,
them.
that's
A
right.
lot of Worktree stands. I was
Yeah, there
surprised that
are.
people live by the Worktrees. I happen to be
They
on
do.
your page, which is like, if Claude wants to Worktree, go ye with Claude. Like, have
Yeah.
fun. But I still haven't succumbed to the Worktree pressure. I'll be honest.
Yeah. I think it's great when Claude uses it itself. I think the thing that breaks down is, like, if you wanna do the full on, like, I am literally working on, like, 7 different features in the same product. Because then you need a bunch of other stuff besides work trees, right? The Worktree Maxis are never just about work trees. It's the
Yeah.
work trees, but now you have to have a whole setup script and a teardown script. You have to
Right.
have separate databases, right? Because like they're going to clobber each other at the database level if you don't do
Yep.
something about that, right? So like there's all these other layers that you have to orchestrate if you want to be like, okay, we're going to work on the same screen at the same time with 2 different AIs or
Mm-hmm.
5 different AIs or whatever. And it's just like, I'm dubious on the productivity of such a thing occurring. Like, I just don't know that I can effectively manage 3 AIs on the same screen at the same time, working on the same feature, basically. Like, it just seems unnecessary. Like, yeah, if you just have the LLM do it, it'll use work trees when it wants to use them. If it's running multiple agents for something it thinks it needs to use them for, that's fine.
You know what I did do this week?
What did you do?
I did check out Solo, the desktop app. I checked it
Yes,
out twice. So I
you
have
checked it out.
I
What's that mean?
have
I see what
desktop.
you're
I have
saying.
a folder named desktop. Now I have
Gotcha.
a folder named desktop dash 2.
Ah, I love a desktop
I
too.
just I
Yes.
just checked it out
There
twice.
you go.
And it
All right.
turns out it worked great.
It's fine. Yeah.
And you know what? I have node modules in both. And you know what?
Mm,
I just don't care. It
it's
just
fine.
doesn't matter. It's fine.
Right.
And so now I can work on, I can like fix a bug and implement a feature in different ones.
And just be
And
sure you're not clobbering.
frankly, I push them both to main. Like,
Right.
well, I don't even
It's
care.
fine.
But it is nice to like have 2 discrete
Mhm.
checkouts. I did, like you said, have to set up a .env.local in each checkout to
Mhm.
make sure that they weren't reading from the same SQLite, because it's a desktop app, same SQLite
Right.
database, and they weren't running on
Mm.
the same Vite port. So
Right.
there's
Little setup.
definitely work to do.
Right.
But now with desktop and desktop 2, it's just always like I just have 2 copies. So if I ever want
Right.
to do something else, I can just switch over to desktop 2, and it's already got the env.local or the .env.local. And it's already running on a different port. I need to set up so it has different icons, because sometimes I'll have
Mm.
production solo, dev 1, dev 2, and they all have the same icon. And I'm like, uh-oh,
It's a
which
little
one do I
tricky.
choose?
Yeah.
But that part, like, being able to work on 2 different things is
Mhm.
pretty nice. And so
Yeah.
I'm starting to come around to the like working on the same code base, but I don't know if I'm just a laggard. I just can't abide a work tree.
Yeah. I mean, again, because there's just more to it. Like this, the 2 checkout thing is the way I think I would definitely handle it. And if I feel the need at some point to like, I'm really working on the same thing so much, so often that like I am slowing down because I have to wait. Which I guess we'll see. It's kind of interesting. It kind of ties back to being a conversation with the superpowers thing, because in the way I'm currently working with the AI, I'm doing such like smaller chunks. Like it's never
Mhm.
running that long. Like it's like, oh, it's
Mhm.
5 minutes. Like whatever. I'm not even like by the time I like kind of get it going, I check back on Slack and I come back, it's done. It's not even a big deal. But if I have like maybe giving it bigger chunks, which I guess is where people hit this, it's like, okay, well, now this thing's maybe running for 20 minutes. And well, I don't want to do
Mhm.
nothing for 20 minutes. So yeah, having a second checkout makes sense. I don't know. Maybe we'll end up coming around to Worktrees. Maybe it's gonna be fine, and we'll embrace it. But for
If you
now,
go back
I think
across
it's
the
okay.
100 episodes that we've done, you might find a time that I've been wrong
It's
once.
possible.
I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. Somebody do the
Did you
research,
did you
and this
check
could
out
be
the
another one.
Did you check out the copy on write stuff? This is another thing I've only heard about, but have not,
Yeah, I
explored.
checked that out. That is a common uh that's like a big database thing. That's how some of these
Okay.
database companies do like instant branching,
Mhm.
is its copy on write. Um and so I mean it sounds super cool. It's like managed at the OS level.
Mhm.
It's pretty bulletproof. I mean, if the database companies are using it, it's got to be
Right.
pretty baked. So if I end up doing something in solo where it's like, let's duplicate this project, for example,
Mm.
I would lean copy on write for sure versus work trees.
Mm.
Because it is like it just like your separate user, it's fully baked, and it's not
Right.
this new. I know that Git work trees are fully baked, so I'm not contrasting it to that, but it's not like a new thing that the AI people invented. It's
Right.
been around forever,
Yeah.
and all the storage people and the database people have been using it successfully for years. So
So is it cloning your Git repo too? Like, it's cloning the whole thing? Like, it's like a whole separate Git repo is being created effectively because it's a new directory or whatever.
it is. So it's like a file system operation
Right. Mhm.
where it basically just points at the underlying storage blocks, and it like sets up a register with the OS that says there are now 2 subscribers to this storage block. And
Mm.
so if the original guy changes that block whatsoever, then it creates a duplicate copy so that
The other pointer
the
doesn't.
reference, yeah, the pointer doesn't expire.
Right.
Um and so it is fundamentally like below Git. And so you can do like
Mm.
a copy on write and then switch branches over there. And anything that changes when you switch branches becomes homed in that reference directory.
Right.
And anything that
Mhm.
hasn't changed still points at the underlying original blocks on the file
Mm.
system.
Hmm.
So it's one level below Git. So it's not even like is it a new checkout? It's like it's identical to what I think unstaged changes and everything. It's like
Are all there.
if you
Right.
have working changes, if you have stuff that's not committed and you do
Mhm.
a copy on write, it's just like a mirror of whatever was
Right.
there originally.
It's interesting. This is like big brain stuff, you know? It might
I
be too early in
know.
the morning for me to absorb all
I
that, but,
know.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. There's still my whole theory, which is like ultimately like these little speed improvements are like pretty
Mhm.
meaningless. But whatever. I know it's gonna bother us at times, and so we're gonna need solutions, whatever. But
Your hobby horse is that this all allows us to go so much faster in the wrong direction.
yeah,
Or
or we
to
don't know where we're
nowhere.
going. To
Yeah.
nowhere. We're going faster
Yeah.
to nowhere. That's what everybody's doing. They don't know where they're going. How many people have you seen on Twitter that are like, "Oh, build this thing," and then like nobody's using it, or
All
or
of
they
them.
never ship it. Right? It's all of
All
them.
of them.
I literally haven't seen anybody ship anything. Like, to be fair, or
The
at least not
majority of
ship
people
anything with
haven't
users.
shipped anything.
Yeah. So again, there's just so much else to the whole thing that like people just want to ignore because this is the fun part, and
Yes.
this is like everybody's replaced. I was just talking to somebody, but like basically, I think it might have been Bossman Chris. But like doing less games and less other things because like AI is your game now, right? Like
Yeah,
AI is
totally.
what you are doing. So you're building a new product or you're building a thing because this is your fun entertainment time.
Which I'm on
But I think
board
it,
with.
which is fine, but like just realize that you are in fun entertainment time a lot of the time with this. You are not in productively building a product that's going to pay you a lot of money time
You
often. And
can be
so,
in Escape the Permanent Underclass, but you have to build something that people are gonna use, and you have
right,
to actually
yes.
ship it. And
Yes.
we also have to balance this with, presumably, Stripe is merging thousands of PRs a day with no human oversight. So
Mhm.
there's some way that this is real, but I think a lot of what we see on Twitter is LARPing.
Yeah.
But there is some reality, like
Yeah.
if you build up enough guardrails and enough infrastructure, you can get massive gains from like
Mhm.
duplicate work. But I don't know that the average user, myself included, is there.
But there's even such interesting stuff around that. Like, first of all, Stripe knows it is a viable product that people will pay money for, right?
They
Like,
do know
which is
that, yes.
different than what everybody else on Twitter is talking about, which is like,
Yeah,
I'm going to build thing X, like, which you don't know. You haven't given any thought to if this is the
yeah.
thing people even want, right? So right there, you have a fundamentally different thing going on some level. And then, is Stripe gotten better? I don't
That is
know.
the open question.
You know?
Is software getting better? I think
I
maybe
mean, to
it's a
me,
closed
Stripe
question with the answer of no.
yeah, I mean, I don't know about the AI part of Stripe even, but even just in general, Stripe has gotten way worse. Like, Stripe is far worse than it was 5 years ago.
Yeah, so
Now
much harder to use.
it's so much harder to use. So, like, I don't know. Maybe like at the end of the day, is the AI 2,000 commits from AI Day going to fix that? I can't ever find anything in the Stripe interface. Like,
And I can't figure
that's
out
the
what my
question.
MRR is.
Right, yeah, like, so, like, this is the thing. It's like these are things that a human needs to go in there and do. Presumably, they've tried and they've failed because, like, these are not like I would imagine thousands of people work at Stripe and they're like, boy, nobody can ever find these settings. We get 1,000 support requests a day on where the like email receipt thing is, and nobody can ever find it. Like, the AI is like not necessarily going to fix that. So I don't know, but I know what you're saying. It's interesting
No
where it's
easy
all going.
answers.
There's no easy answers, but
Turns out it's still hard. And listen, if you're out there
yeah,
thinking, I'm just gonna vibe code a solo replacement desktop app, please don't. Just do anything else.
dude, everybody's doing that. Like, come on.
Just like literally do anything else.
I'm good.
Anything
See,
else.
no, but see, here's the thing. You got to remember, I actually think it's very good news for you that everybody's building the exact same thing with their different variations because means there's people want it, right? Like,
That is
this
true.
is right. Like, there's 8 billion help desk apps because people want help desk apps. And so that's the thing. When you're building something that nobody seems to be building, then maybe you're the first, but maybe you're just
Maybe you're dead.
going nowhere.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So I think that part, I mean, your thing is more like which variation of this type of app is ultimately going to be what people want to use. And then, but I think the real answer, what I'm hopeful for you is that it is like help desk software in a sense where it's like, there's just so many people who need this that there will always be some percentage of them that don't want to do the mainstream thing,
Yes.
which to me, the mainstream thing is like Codex desktop app, Conductor, whatever that thing's called,
Conductor.
like those type of thing, Cursor with the agent view, right? That's like the mainstream. Give me a chat box. I don't really do any, I'm not messing around with the other stuff. And then solos, you want to be a layer below that. You like still want to know your Claude, you still want to access directly the UI. And you have a lot of competitors in that space too. I mean, I've seen definitely like 5 or 6 or more who are doing very similar to what you're doing.
But worse, right?
But worse, or
Yeah.
even just different. Like sometimes they're in more of like a Tmuxy kind of setup
I know.
inside the terminal where you're obviously like a dedicated desktop app and whatever. There's different variations. But so even within that, right? That's great. Like some people who are like, I'm super uber terminal guy. You just want to be only in the terminal. Fine. You're kind of going in between those worlds of like,
Mhm.
I want more of the niceties of a real app. But also I'm not all the way to like hide everything from me and that kind of thing. So yeah, will there be a market for that? We will see. I mean, people are buying solo to some
People are
degree
buying
now,
it.
so that's good.
Yep.
That's a good sign.
That is a good sign.
So
We're getting traction.
yeah.
We're still fixing things.
Mm-hmm.
I've got Will King, friend of the pod.
I
He's
saw
designing
that.
things.
Nice.
So it's about to get a
Get
lot
prettier.
prettier.
Mm-hmm. That's important, I
So we're
think.
moving. Yeah. Just
Now
gotta,
we're
glad I didn't release 7 apps all at once.
This is the
Hate that
thing,
about
man.
you.
I
Hate
tried to
that
tell
about
you
you.
this,
I
but here's the
know.
thing. Real
It
software,
sucks.
it never stops. I've been building the same freaking product for 20 years, man. 20 years. And there's never a day where it's like, oh, there's no bugs. There's no bugs to do today. Like, no, there's always bugs. There's always feature requests. It never stops. Every single day for 20
Somebody
years,
should have told me that.
somebody wants something.
Somebody
So,
should have told me that.
sometimes you have to experience it for yourself.
Man,
But
hate
you
that.
have plenty to do. I'm
I wish
glad
I
you
could
don't have
learn
anywhere
from
else.
other people's pain.
No, you got to launch all you have a lot of work to do. You
I
got
got a lot of work to do.
plenty of products. You got faster. I feel like faster. We got to get back on the faster wagon
I
here.
know. I got videos I got to release over there.
Okay. Good. YouTube videos. What about the YouTube, man?
We don't have time to let's not berate Aaron in the last 10 minutes here. We're working
Oh,
on it. We're
boy.
getting there.
Alright, alright. Yeah. Okay.
That's all I
We
got.
might That's all I got too. Let's leave it there.
Let's leave it there.
Thanks everybody for checking out the show. Thanks to the sponsors. Thanks to listeners. Hit us up on email and Twitter and all the stuff. Comment on YouTube 'cause that helps the algo,
Yeah.
help us play the game. If you have any thoughts, send them over there. And we'll see you next week. And then we should mention that in a couple weeks we're going on Nuno's show. So we'll talk
We're
about
going
that
on
more next
Nuno's
week.
show. Yep.
But end of next week, we're going on Nuno's show to talk about stuff, and it's gonna be fun. I watched some of his stream yesterday.
Dude.
Man, he's all in. He's high energy. I didn't realize.
You're gonna have to load up on some caffeine or something
We're gonna
because
have to make some
it's
exceptions.
high energy, man.
He is cooking on there. So yeah,
Yeah.
we're gonna be on Nuno show. We're gonna see if we can keep up with Nuno for an hour or two, and then so catch us there. But we'll talk more about that next week. See you later.
See
Bye.
ya.